hard to believe it was 50 years ago, this week. 50 years ago, when 5 men were caught breaking into the offices of the Democratic National Committee here in Washington. 2 years after that, the so-called Watergate break-in and the cover-up by the Nixon White House, it brought down the president. For nearly a half a century, the Watergate scandal really ranked as America's greatest constitutional test since the Civil War. Then came January 6, 2021. An angry mob, summoned by a defeated president, attacked this Capitol building, attacked this chamber. And those of us who were in it knew it was an attempt to overthrow an election which Donald Trump lost but never admitted. How did we respond? Well, the proposal was made, the right proposal, to create a bipartisan commission to investigate what happened on January 6, 2021. Unfortunately, the Republicans, led by Senator McConnell in the Senate, filibustered the creation of an independent commission to investigate January 6. Fortunately, the House went forward to proceed on its own, on a bipartisan basis, to get to the truth. Now, after 11 months and 1,000 interviews, more than 1,000, the Bipartisan Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol is sharing its findings with America. And the revelations are so damning. In its first 2 public hearings, the committee has shown that the attack on the Capitol was not a demonstration that changed spontaneously and became a riot. The attack on our nation's capital, the attack on this chamber, was the result of a plan, a violent effort to prevent the peaceful transfer of power from the Trump administration to the Biden administration, to stop the peaceful transition of power in America for the first time in our history. To quote Congresswoman Liz Cheney, the former President Donald Trump, quote, summoned the mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame of this attack. When the mob beat our police officers and ransacked the Capitol, going through our desks here on the floor, posing for pictures where the presiding officer is now standing, all sorts of things to make them look famous with their friends, at the expense of the integrity of this building and this chamber. They beat the police officers. Donald Trump did nothing to stop them. Nothing. He wouldn't order the National Guard to defend the Capitol, the Senate, the House. He watched the mayhem on TV, rewinding it to watch it over and over again. He gloried in the moment. When the crowd threatened to hang Vice President Pence, Donald Trump said, and the quote, he deserves it. Deserves it. The Vice President of the United States deserves it. His own advisors told him repeatedly that the voter fraud conspiracy theories that he was peddling were false. They were called idiotic, amateurish, detached from reality. Who said that? The former Attorney General serving Donald Trump said it in describing the false claims that President Trump continued to peddle. Donald Trump was told the truth over and over again, and yet he continued to push his deadly big lie. He deliberately, former President of the United States, deliberately undermined America's faith in our election process to overturn the election and to hold on to power no matter what. He used the big lie to make big bucks. We learned that yesterday. $250 million in donations, including millions of dollars for an election defense fund that didn't exist. In a coming hearing, the committee will show how Donald Trump pressured the Justice Department into helping him overturn the election. I know a little bit about that. Our Senate Judiciary Committee, which I chair, documented this attempt to subvert the Justice Department in an 8-month investigation and report that we produced last fall. We produced this report in a bipartisan fashion, inviting Republican and Democratic members of the Senate Judiciary Committee to witness the testimony of the key individuals and to ask questions themselves. We interviewed former justice officials like Jeffrey Rosen and Richard Donahue, the then acting Attorney General and Deputy Attorney General, who resisted Donald Trump's pressure to take over the Justice Department. They told us how repeatedly they informed the former president that his bogus election claims were false. They told us how Trump nevertheless asked the Justice Department to, quote, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and Republican congressmen. And they resisted Donald Trump's plan to replace Jeffrey Rosen with the big lie lawyer, Jeffrey Clark, who wanted the Justice Department to help overturn the election. The facts that the Senate Judiciary Committee uncovered are damning. The January 6th committee will unveil those, many of their own discovery and reporting, and some that we sent to them from our testimony that we gathered in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Mr. President, we came close to losing this democracy in America on January 6th. I believe that by laying out the truth for us and for future generations, the members of the committee are performing a public service of heroic proportions. It is sad that given an opportunity of a bipartisan commission, just as we had with 9/11, that the Senate Republicans stopped it. Why? It's a question they're going to have to answer.